Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Wednesday, April 29th, and I've got some news from Arkansas and again around the country. We consider Hillary Clinton one of our own, even if she's been gone for a long time. She's running for president, of course. She gave an important speech today in New York on criminal justice reform. It comes at a sensitive time with a tremendous amount of unrest in Baltimore that pits community interest versus the police and is causing quite a bit of comment and concern in the country. She said it's time to confront race and community relationships with police. She said that it's, of course, important that police not be turned into military forces. She doesn't condone what's happening at Baltimore at all. She calls for an end to the violence. But she talks about a lot of ways in which police in the cities need to get closer together. Body cameras are one thing she mentioned specifically. She talks too about an end to mass incarceration rates, but she talks about the inequality in communities between income and education that lie at the root of some of the feelings that erupt as they have erupted in Baltimore. It was an important speech. It was a tough speech, and it's echoed on a bipartisan basis in some quarters. Asa Hutchinson today, Arkansas's governor, of course, has a criminal justice reform program of his own. He spoke today about the need for businesses to hire people who've been served felony sentences in prison, and it's the only way to integrate them back into society. Maybe there is some middle ground on this if we can, as Hillary Clinton says, confront what we need to confront. And some of these are tough issues. Others will prefer to talk about such diversionary tactics as money given to the Clinton Foundation to fight AIDS in Africa. Jean Lyons has written a column this week that I think summarizes better than anybody so far what's really been written so far on this matter. It's mostly a snipe hunt, as the Whitewater thing was many years ago. Perhaps more will be developed, but for now I really encourage you to read what Jean Lyons has written either in our paper this week or also on the Arkansas blog. We posted it this morning. In Arkansas, Hot Springs will vote next week on a civil rights ordinance for the city. It will go a little bit farther than Little Rock's civil rights ordinance in protecting against discrimination against people based on sexual orientation and gender identity. A city director there says it's just the right thing to do. It's directly a response to the state legislature's effort to prevent just this sort of legislation. There are people in Hot Springs, Eureka Springs, Little Rock, some in Jonesboro that think this is the right thing to do. Perhaps it's a sign of a spread of tolerance in Arkansas. It may take us a while, but at least it's a step in the right direction. On the issue of sexual differences, the Stonewall Democrats, which is a group that stands up for gay people in the Democratic Party, issued a statement last night blasting Wally Hall, the sports columnist for the Democrat Gazette, for a column he'd written about Bruce Jenner's interview about his being a transgender person. Wally Hall doesn't like Bruce Jenner much. He thinks it's bad for him to be trying to capitalize on things to make a living. Not that any athlete's ever done that before, of course. But the Stonewall Democrats thought he was insensitive, thought that he needed some education on transgender issues. Wally responded to my question about it by saying he was writing about the commercialization of Bruce Jenner, not about sexual orientation. But he did write a cutesy little headline that referred to Jenner as both him and her. So I think that perhaps he might be being a little bit disingenuous about that. Interesting story on KARK last night. John Payton, a state legislator from Wilburn, talked at some length about the fact that he came home to the family home there in a small rural town, found somebody in his house, ordered them out. They took off running. They ran through a gate, jumped some fences, and his son shot the man as he was fleeing in the shoulder. John Payton said this was a good sign of why you need to have a gun to protect yourself. I think a close look at the law based on the facts that were given in the story might raise some questions about the ability to fire at a fleeing person after they no longer are presenting a danger to you. The fact of the matter is in Arkansas that you can pretty well shoot people who take your property, even if that isn't exactly what the law says. It'd be interesting to hear more about this story. Bass Pro Shops, the famous outdoor chain, which just recently opened a big store in Little Rock, opened a $100 million store in Memphis today in the former Pyramid Arena. It includes a hotel. It's giant. Makes me wonder if perhaps we'll lose some Little Rock customers now from people from the eastern half of the state say, why settle for second best? We're going to go to Memphis and see the Bass Pro Pyramid. We've got some pictures online and links to a lot more. It's quite a development, that's for sure. And finally, some good news from Tom Cotton's office last night. He announced that his wife had given birth to an 8.5-pound baby boy, Gabriel, and is proudly showing around pictures like a proud papa. We might hope that the presence of a new, impressionable young thing in the Cotton household might make him a little kinder and gentler in the days ahead than his normal warmongering self. Who knows? We shall see. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.